The Living Proof Tent Crusade changed our lives, our church, and our city forever. There were so many miracles that began even before the first night of the crusade. We began hosting prayer meetings for the crusade a month before the tent went up. Mario had invited pastors and Christians from all over the city to come and join with us in prayer. We met every night of the week, Monday through Friday, to pray. And just seeing believers come together across denominational lines and join together in prayer, and it was extraordinary prayer, as multiple churches from around the city prayed together for a great harvest, for revival, for awakening. It was absolutely powerful.
And in the tent, night after night, we sat on the front row and we watched thousands of people come forward in response to the call to follow Jesus. Miraculous is the only word that I can think of to describe what
And
God did.
undeniable miracles.
All 4 nights combined, over 3,000 people came to Christ. And I'm being conservative when I say this, because it was actually reported that 3,600 responded to the altar calls. The only thing I could compare it to was a Billy Graham crusade. People were coming from every direction, filling the front of the tent, filling every aisle from the front of the tent, backed up and flowing outside of the tent. It was amazing. It was miraculous. And then the healing miracles were incredible. But there are too many to share them all. So let me just highlight a few. Our dear friend, Donna Grant Wilcox, was miraculously healed after 9 years of constant pain, severe physical limitations, and battling disability. She threw down her cane and she danced all over the tent that night when God healed her. A young woman named Bree, who could barely walk to the front. She'd been chronically and severely ill for over 6 years. Her brother told me that for much of that time, she had been bedridden. Mario called her out. She was totally healed, saved, set free, and delivered. Her doctors are now scratching their heads and calling it a spontaneous remission. Bree says, I don't know what they call it, but I call it a miracle from Jesus. There was another man named Ron that Mario called out and said he had a growth in his throat, and this growth was limiting his ability to speak and to sing. Ron said that when Mario called him out and God was healing him, he said that he heard someone in the crowd going, this is phony, this is staged. And he said while that was happening, while people were saying that, God was doing a miracle in him. And he said there was nothing phony or staged about it. The growth miraculously disappeared. And he said that night, he sang How Great Thou Art with his son for the first time in many, many weeks. God did miracles in the tent. Another one was a man named Stephen. And this man said that he told me his exact words were, he said, I was in a very, very dark place. And he said, but my friends called me and they said, Stephen, you've got to come to the tent. He said he came to the tent and got radically saved. He had been in horrible, chronic, severe pain. He had so many physical issues that he was on 16 different drugs and medications. He said he came into the tent lost and in a dark place, and he left radically saved, delivered, and healed. He said he never took another drug, another medication. He totally quit taking them, went back to the doctor, and the doctor is baffled by the fact that he seems to be miraculously healed. There were so many others.
Well, I think about Stephen. Now he's at church every time the doors are open.
Oh my goodness.
And he's just beaming.
Yes.
And what we saw in the tent was the book of Acts come alive.
Yes.
On the day of Pentecost, 3,000 men came to Christ. And we saw over 3,000 come to Christ in this tent. And we saw the same signs, wonders, and miracles that we often pray for and ask for. God is on the move.
We'll never be the same. Thank you, Mario. Thank you to your wonderful wife, Michelle, and your entire team. God bless you. Keep doing what you're doing, because the fire of revival is here to stay. And it's just going to grow brighter and stronger and spread across the nation.
He's just getting started.